How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today, we're going to be covering a topic that I think is worthwhile. We're not doing any intro for this video, guys. Apologies about that. But if you do, guys, enjoy this video, if you do like it, if you do enjoy the channel and that sort of stuff, then please drop a like down below, because I think this is a theory that's actually going to pan out pretty well. It's going to pan out pretty well in the coming few months, because it gives us a lot of insight, and it's all thanks to a viewer that sent this my way. I did not notice this myself, as I haven't been paying attention to the Sun and Moon anime, but this actually could give us an indication of what's to come in Sword and Shield. So, you know, let's get into the actual topic, which is going to be about offense and defense mode in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. That's all going to stem from a theory and speculation, right? We're going to be covering two different topics here in a single one. We're going to be covering something from the trailer, as well as something from the Sun and Moon anime that might be hinting towards what's to come, as well as a rumor that I'm not going to bring up here because I can't really go through and find the exact, original post about it, but I can kind of refer to it and, say what it originally said when I read it. But either way, what are we doing today, guys? Well, we're talking about offense and defense modes in Pokemon Sword and Shield. This is a theory that came at me from a viewer, and a few people have also suggested it, and a few rumors have mentioned it. A specific rumor mentioned it in the exact way that it's kind of being portrayed here in the Sun and Moon anime, which is intriguing, but I can't really remember if this happened before it happened in the anime, or if this rumor came after, before or after. I can't really tell. Also, if you guys enjoyed these videos, drop a like down below, subscribe for future videos, and let's get into the actual topic here, guys, which is this right here. So this was sent to me by Aurelian on Twitter, so big thank you to Aurelian again. He sent me a lot of stuff, a lot of information like this, which is always appreciated, by the way. Like, every single time I get one of these, they really go a long way, and they do help out a lot, man. So thank you so much, Aurelian. Appreciate it. Thank you. Here's what it basically said. So, RuffledRowlit. New game mechanic confirmed in episode 112 of Pokemon Sun and Moon. The Meltan eye change shape on Pix 1 and goes to a defensive mode that breaks Meowth's claw on Pix 2, and on Pix 3, Meltan's eye changes again to attack mode and makes a powerful attack on picture 4. So on the first one here, you may see you got Meltan, and of course the shape of the eye is changed to it's kind of like a reddish color, so to say. It isn't it also is like a bit of a triangle, so it isn't the circular color that you have normally. And when you see this triangle color, what does it kind of remind you of? At least what it reminds me of, maybe it doesn't remind you, but when I see this, I see the shape of a shield, okay? The shape of a shield is what I see right in front of myself. Now, of course, that's just my mind goes to, when I see this, is that I see a shield shape, which, of course, is just what I see, but if you see something different, let me know. If there's something else here that you can, dissect from this, let me know. But as mentioned here, though, what he says here is that in the first pick, it goes into defensive mode, and that breaks Meowth's claw, which you can see right here. If you go to, and the next one here, you see that it's actually breaking its claw by hitting the outside area of Meltan, right? It's getting, it's the outside area is very stronger. It isn't, thin and whatnot, which is really interesting. And right there, you see the claws actually go into pieces. Now, there's another piece of information regarding Meltan's way of changing its head and whatnot, which I'm going to bring up because it was also during the Sun and Moon anime, and this was sent to me by another viewer. But I'll bring that up in a second though, while I'm searching around over here. Meanwhile, though, let's jump to the next picture here, which is this one right here. And here, it's about to switch into its offense mode, which, the eye still got that kind of, triangular shape, but it changes more towards being like a dagger almost. And right here, boom, it goes to offense mode, and it shoots out a blue beam. Okay, a blue beam. Now, again, like I said, it seems oddly freaking familiar to the logos, at least, that we've seen for Sword and Shield, right? The offense part shows a blue aura coming out, right? And the defense part shows us a eye that's in the shape of a freaking, and it's red colored, by the way, which is like the shield that we've got on Sword and Shield logos. It's more pinkish, but, it's kind of in the same realm. And also, the eye takes the shape of almost like a triangular, whatchamacallit, like a shield. But yeah, so that's one of the things. Now, there is something else I want to bring up here, which is sent to me by Dargo. So this is something that was sent to me by Dargo. Actually, a bunch of images showing the boys over at over at the Sun and Moon animation studio, clearly having a lot of fun with Meltan and how they can make Meltan into a bunch of different shapes, and of course, kind of destroying Rowlit's life. So here's what it is, guys. Boom. Let me just bring this up. So again, Aurelian, thank you so much for, noticing this, man, by the way. I really appreciate it. And here's basically what we're talking about, right? So here you can see that it's, also, I just like the Game Freak logos in Rowlit's eyes here, just so random. But you can see Meltan's head actually changes into a Game Boy here. Here it changes into, I'm not even sure, is that like a Slowpoke tail, I think? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure. Here, I don't even know what this is. It's like tape. I guess it's it's basically turned into tape. Also, I love Rowlit's expressions, dude. It's like the cutest little thing in the world, man. Here it's is that like Dragalge and whatnot? and it's turned into like a water, I'm sure what you call those, floating device, I guess. I don't know what the English word is for it, I don't know. Here it's a can that's been opened. Again, Rowlit just feeling great. Here... Dude, its head can be turned into anything, apparently. And here it's turned into Klefki of all things, right? That is just a little bit insane. And of course, Rowlit just kind of like losing his shit, dog. Just straight up losing his shit, man. Which is, intriguing to say the least. Let's just put it that way, okay? It's intriguing to say the least. But yeah, that is, wow, that's... That's so strange. But why do I bring this up? Why do I show this to you guys? Why am I showing you this in particular? Because this is kind of pointing towards the fact that Meltan clearly can change the shape of its head, and it clearly could have been changing there between an offense and defense mode, which would mean that the rumor that was saying that we might be able to use a offensive and defensive mode in these games, and also another rumor that mentioned that specifically Meltan is going to be able to make armor that's both defensive and offensive armor, right? Some armor that, you know, you're going to be able to use it in a more defensive way. It will raise your defense and whatnot, your special defense, and all that, while the offensive armor it's going to be more towards offensive moves and, you know, doing more damage and all that sort of stuff, which would not be surprising whatsoever. Straight up, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. That's, you know, the path they go down, which would make a lot of sense. So the fact that, you know, Meltan seems to be showing up in the anime right now a lot, you know, is pretty interesting. And I think this is kind of giving us a bit of an insight into what's to come for Meltan in Generation 8. Because I think in Generation 8, Meltan may have a big impact. Because here's the thing, right? It popped up in Generation 7, right? It's part of Generation 7. It's a Gen 7 Pokemon, technically, in terms of, like, the release schedule and where it ends up being, right? So it isn't a Generation 8 Pokemon, which is unfortunate. And I know there's been a discussion about this, but I think, like, if you check with Joe Merrick, he can probably give you a rundown. You know, Joe Merrick who runs Cerebi, he can probably give you a rundown of why it's in the category of, like, Generation 7. But it clearly is going to have, it seems like to me, some level of impact in Generation 8. And the reason for that is it's a mythical Pokemon. It's a straight-up mythical Pokemon that just... Like, think about it, right? It's a mythical Pokemon that we know barely anything about. We just know now that at least we know that Meltan can at least change the shape of its head, right? We know that several Meltans need to congregate for it to evolve into a Melmetal. We know Melmetal is a big chunky boy that existed 3,000 years ago the last time. That's the last time it showed up. So the real question ends up being, like, you know, the real question is, what's Meltan's impact in Generation 8? I think Meltan will be the Pokemon used to kind of like shape armor, right? To make armor. Because clearly it can use its body for that, and clearly it likes to consume metals. If you guys remember the trailer for Meltan, for those who do not remember watching that, go check it out, guys. Because the trailer for Meltan's announcement actually shows it consuming different metals, like little, you know, like a bunch of that sort of stuff, and his body looks like liquid metal, right? Kind of like the creepy guy from, well, like the you know, the cyborg looking, I mean, not cyborg, the robot guy from the first, like, Terminator movie, right? Kind of like that. That's kind of what that reminds me of. The point I'm trying to get across, though, okay? The point I'm trying to, like, put forward here is that clearly Meltan will have some sort of impact in the upcoming games, because these upcoming games are going to be so much different. Also, my FPS on my freaking camera went down, but clearly it's going to have an impact in terms of the shields and all that sort of stuff, the armor, all that sort of stuff. I think it's going to have an impact there. Now, how do I, you know, how can I determine that? How can I know that? Because again, Melmetal showed up 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago, Kalos had its war. Okay, the war was clearly with Galar, let's be honest here. Also, the Galar region seems to have had the original rumor that said that we're going to be getting armored evolutions, see, connected to that. So I think, if anything, we're going to be able to collect Meltans or catch Meltans and do some sort of evolution with a Meltan and, you know, a Pokemon that can match up with it, right? Which will give that Pokemon, that new Pokemon, some sort of armor, right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking since Meltan can shape itself in any shape. Look at this, right? It's literally, it can shape its head into anything. Would it surprise you if it's going to be able to be used in some way or shape to actually shape into armor that's going to be able to be put on different Pokemon, maybe temporarily or even permanently, possibly? I mean, I don't know. I just want to bring that up. But here's the final thing for this video, though. And it's actually something about the Skarmory thing, which I covered already. I talked about this, but nobody else really, you know, seems to be mentioning it that much recently. But thank you to Sheila here for saying this, by the way. I mentioned this when we saw the trailer the first time, because we saw at the back of the shirt of the guy, the player, you know what I mean, when you come into the, you know, stadium, on the back of the shirt it says 227. Now, 227, you know, could also mean two different things, right? One, it's the day that we got the announcement and the reveal of the trailer, right? It was on the 27th of February, aka 227, right? But also, it's the entry in the Pokedex for Skarmory. It's Skarmory's Pokedex number, right? And Skarmory is known as the Armor Pokemon, okay? there is going to be armor in these games. There's going to be some sort of armored evolution, armored form, something like that. And I think Meltan's going to have an impact there, because Meltan may be the thing that decides if that Pokemon's going to be, you know, an offensive form or a defensive form of the Pokemon. I think we're getting something like that, guys. Sword forms and shield forms. I think we're getting something like that. Maybe not armored evolutions per se, but something in that shape for sure. Because I think they're definitely hinting with 227. I think they're definitely hinting at Skarmory, aka the armored Pokemon. The Pokemon with armor on it. And I think we're going to be getting armor in these games for our Pokemon. I'm intrigued to see how they're going to do it. I'm intrigued to see how they're going to pull it off, but I don't know yet. So here's what the actual thing here says, though, is that I think we might be able to assume that the armor will play a certain role. Personally, I think armored Evos will work like Mega Evolutions, and I agree, that's a very high possibility. But you have to collect the piece for specific mons, or craft them, which would be sick, by the way. However, I don't think armored evolutions have anything to do with the red/blue swirl logo, much like how Z moves had nothing to do with the Alolan variants. Exactly. I don't think the logo has anything to do with that. I think the logo is just the league logo and may just be representing the two legendaries of the region, being an offensive, you know, an offense wolf, a sword wolf, and a shield, you know, a defense shield wolf, so to say. And that's more likely to be the thing, right? To be representing just the region. I don't think it's going to be, you know, because I said originally that could also be something hinting at fusions, because there's two wolves and they're potentially combining into a single wolf, you know, potentially fusion maybe. But who knows? I mean, I think the more likely thing is now we're going to get armored forms of Pokemon, but I think they're going to be armored forms rather than, you know, armored evolutions, whatever, rather than being, you know, I mean, it could be like Megas, or it could be like, you know, Alolan variants. It's one of those two options, but I think we're definitely going to be getting something like that, because I don't think, like, Game Freak doesn't do anything, and the Pokemon Company doesn't do anything without a reasoning behind it, and clearly this down here, it has a reasoning behind it. I mean, 227... Come on, dude. 2271 being, you know, the freaking, you know, the day it happened, and also being the freaking, like, number for this, you know, for the Pokemon that's literally known as the Armor Pokemon. I mean, come on. It's just too on the nose. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it, though. If you did, then drop a like down below. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to all the people that sent me stuff for information. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for today, guys. Have yourselves a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.